Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing a birthday card using my favorite things and a little bit of fun. First of all, I am going to try to make another birthday card using that bokeh effect in the background, so that's what I'm going to start with. I have my A2 size panel here. I die cut it using basic rectangles from my elephant, but any basic will do. And then I took the rectangle Extraordinaire Stencil from my favorite things, and I am making sure to align it in the middle of my card panel. I'm using some purple tape, and once I adhered it properly, I'm going to start ink blending. So for the background, I wanted to have a bit of fun, not only having pinks but also some yellows and some purples. So I did a bit of everything all over this background, having several colors just to try to give this bokeh effect a bit more of an edge. So I just took these three colors thinking that, well, combining the yellow and the pink would give me some sort of an orangey kind of color, and then I have a bit of that Seedless preserves to just add a bit more interest even on this background. I'm using one blending brush because, well, I'm going to mix and do things with these colors throughout this background, so I didn't bother taking another brush for these colors. And just adding quite a lot of color here. Also with the yellow going back and forth to really get that warm color as well. Until I was happy. Now, I noticed that I sort of went underneath the stencil. Now, there are several ways to fix that. One of them that I'm showing today is just to pretend it was the idea. So I went with some more purple tape right aside of that blurred out line, and I created a new frame using purple tape. And then once I figured out the width of that, I did that all over. You can also do it on two edges and sort of have like this idea of a shadow, but now I just have a small frame around this rectangle that will be in a softer version of the colors that I used in the middle. So I'm just making sure to go everywhere sort of with the same colors that I used aside from this new frame, and just really soft. And once I'm happy with that, I'm also going to remove the purple tape, and then, well, I have my sort of background. But first, let's do the bokeh. In my other video that I did a bit back, well, I minimalized the amount of bokeh and the colors. Today I decided to use the white pigment ink again, but also the pink and the yellow that I used in the back. So I'm making sure to sort of twist this stencil. There are also bokeh stencils out there, but if you don't have anything like that, you can always use, like me, a stencil with circles. Or if you don't have that, but you have circle dies, then you can first die cut some circles out of a piece of paper and then use that as a stencil. If you want to have a permanent stencil that you made your own, then you can always cut it out of acetate and then keep the acetate close by for other projects. Something that I still found difficult in this card, that I also experienced in the previous one, was to decide when I had enough of those circles added to really have that bokeh effect. However, I also decided, like last time, to try it with the colors that I used. So doing the yellow, I'm not going to add a purple because that was just a bit too dark, I thought, but the yellow and the pink looked like a great idea. Also the yellow, it's quite subtle still, but it shows up, and that's what I really like. It's not a pigment ink, so it's a bit harder, but as you can see, it still shows up, and that's what I really like. It's more subtle than with a pigment ink. but I really love the effect. Also the pink, I did a few and then I thought, well, maybe it's just a bit too much, but I just kept adding, and in the end it's just fine, and I really like how this background turned out. It's really fun to create actually, and I really should make more backgrounds like this. Maybe other variations to show you and maybe inspire you, but it's a lot of fun. So if you have some circles out there in your craft room or craft area, then definitely try it out because you will get addicted. So once I was happy with the amount, again you can add way more or less depending on what you prefer. I removed the purple tape really slowly, as you can see here. But I just wanted to show you that from time to time, even with a low tech tape, it's better to go slowly and in an angle to just avoid you ripping the paper, because even a low tech can ruin your panel, believe me. So I'm making sure to not smudge anything, so I'm using my fist, using anything except my fingers that I might have put inside of that ink. Next, for my image and for the sentiment, I'm using some more My Favorite Things products. For the sentiment, it's the Itty Bitty Birthday stamp set, and I'm using the Favorite Friends from My Favorite Things to add as my image. Now, it's the reindeer with the balloons. I already used it in another card that I shared here. It's just an adorable critter, and I really love it. So I decided to color it in using the same colors a bit as my background. But for my sentiment first, I did some white heat embossing because I thought with a pigment ink that would really stand out. As you saw, I made sure to heat set my panel to just dry all of the inks so that the embossing powder wouldn't be all over. So once that was done, it was time to color in the image. I stamped it out using dark chocolate Gina K Designs Amalgam ink. And I used my I used my Copic Markers to color it in. I went for the soft version of the reindeer that I did in the past, where I am using actually a lighter color for the biggest part of the reindeer and then the darker color for the antlers, which is not like the logical thing to do, but it's a really sweet thing to do because personally I find whenever I'm using lighter colors for the bigger parts of the deer, that it sort of looks cuter because, well, it's light and not in your face, the coloring. Although I really like a dark reindeer from time to time, this one is really cute, I think. Also, I'm glad that I'm still using it now. I don't know if you are like me and seeing a reindeer is sort of linked to Christmas. I think it's a bit like that for me. But these ones have balloons and it's just too much fun to not use them. It's to celebrate someone or for a birthday. I think it's perfect. But I think, however, that I will use this card during winter still. I don't know, maybe just to have a bit more of a link with Christmas. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but well, since reindeers are being used for Santa and such, it's sort of, yeah, it's automated in my head that it's sort of a Christmassy thing, but it's not the case. And these have balloons, so I needed to use it again because I just love critters with balloons. I have noticed that whenever there is a stamp set with balloons, I tend to buy it, even though it might be the only image in the stamp set that is really my thing. This stamp set is cute whatsoever, but again, this is my favorite image from the stamp set. It just has balloons. I went for the nose in pink. I don't know if you saw that, but I just thought that it was fun. I could have done it in brown, wanted to avoid the red because that wouldn't match with my background. And here I went for really bright pink. I wanted to use yellow, and the pink was really in your face, I know. But I think in the end it turns out alright. It's just these colors are really bright, and I see it when I remove my hand that there is sort of a bit of a well, a lot of light, and it's like fluorescent, but when my hand is there you can see that it's sort of different. Now, because I had these two main colors in my background and then a bit of a purple, but I decided to go for the third balloon a bit wild and crazy and try to sort of mix them together, which was a struggle. But, well, a fun struggle. Making sure that I was keeping in mind to not oversaturate it, or whenever I thought I was doing that, or whenever you think you're doing that, you can always take your heat gun and quickly heat set it and make sure that the paper is sort of well, calming down. So I went back and forth. I also wanted that one balloon to have a bit more contrast with the shadowing. So I tried a bit more. Again, if you want to revisit the color combinations, definitely check out my blog post. I have listed everything there. And then it was time to take the matching dies and cut this image out. So I did that, and then let's assemble. So first of all, I have my panel adhered straight on top of my card base, and then I added some thin foam squares on the back of my image to just play a bit with dimension, but not too much. And once I added everywhere, I could adhere this cutie on top of my card. I decided to not add it completely straight, just to have the idea that it was really floating and just being dragged by the balloons and the wind and everything. And then of course I had to add some glossy accents to the balloons. I just had to. I also colored this reindeer in other colors based on my previous card with this cutie. Maybe I can do a background with those colors as well, just having the same idea but with other colors in the background and on the balloons. I don't know, I will see what I will do with that. So this is my card. A lot of fun creating this bokeh effect in the background again. So I hope that I can inspire you and that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for stopping by and taking the time. I truly appreciate it. And I wish you all an incredible day. Bye!